In 1991, an Indian boy named Titu Singh said he was the reincarnation of Suresh Verma. He knew precise and eerie details about his former life, all of which were verified by the deceased's relatives. He recognized the old radio shop he owned, his past wife, and his 2 kids. After revealing he was shot in the right temple in his past life, he showed his birthmark, which is exactly where the autopsy of Suresh confirmed as the entry and exit holes from his passing. Similar cases have occurred to people of all ages and regions around the world. So, let's explore some of the experiences from Reddit users. I never believed in reincarnation. My first son had really bad speech delays, and once he started talking, he would tell us these detailed stories of his father, grandfather, and his baby child who all passed away in the mountains. When we would tell him that never happened, he would get so upset with us and say we weren't listening. The stories only lasted about 1 year, and he never talks about it now. He included so many details and would get so emotional about it. I don't know if he actually remembered something, or if he really is the reincarnation of something. And I still don't know if reincarnation is real, but I think it might be possible. And I think he might have actually had some experiences that he was trying to share with us. My daughter used to tell me she had another family before us. She once walked me across the street at 2 years old, insisting that her brother lived there. She didn't have a brother. She does now, but at the time, I wasn't even pregnant or trying or anything. I should have knocked, so I'm still wondering about it to this day. But how crazy would it have seemed? She told me one day, while I was playing with her outside, that her sister's bones were still in the woods. She was really serious about it. More serious than a 2-year-old should be. It scared the shit out of me. I tried to get more information about that, trying to figure out if she'd seen a movie or something. No one would have been watching scary movies around her that I know of. I don't know, it always kind of freaked me out. I don't really believe in reincarnation, but I don't know that I 100% don't believe her. My 4-year-old son has only said some vague statements about his past life. He has said stuff like, when I was big, and when I died, and when I used to have my own family. Those are a little easier to explain than insisting having a brother and a dead sister in the woods. But hey, I don't know, maybe she's onto something. But to this day, she doesn't remember anything, or even telling me anything about this. When I was 5, I always had very vivid nightmares. Sometimes I was sleeping, and a few times I was wide awake, trapped in this dream where I relived my own death. I can remember my mom holding me and saying my name, but she sounded like she was at the end of a tunnel. I had various ones that reoccur. One in particular I can recall as if I dreamt it last night. I always felt like I was in Florida or something. I recall the smell of the ocean, palm trees in the distance, hot and muggy, but I was wearing a white suit. I walked across a tarmac to a hangar. Inside were a group of men. One sat at a table with a metal briefcase. I exchanged my briefcase, which was handcuffed to my wrist. The men got in a car and drove off. I looked back down to the briefcase and entered the combination 766, causing the locks to pop open on either side. I opened the briefcase, and for a brief moment that felt like eternity, I see explosives as heat envelops my face and body. That's usually the part where I snap out of it and wake up barely even able to breathe. I now know that I have a lot of panic attacks. My mom would occasionally make me go to church and tell her and her friends about my dreams. And they always tell me maybe they're just bad dreams or I watched a scary movie, but I still remember these dreams vividly. They continued until I was around 10 years old, but I still remember them even though I'm in my 20s now. I even have another dream where I have a stash hidden deep in the woods with various vehicles, money, inside a fort or something like that. I vaguely recall telling the story, but the detail that always excites me is the possibility of finding that Jeep and its hidden compartments filled with money in real life. When I was about 7 years old, I had this memory of freezing to death as an adult. It didn't scare me, I just kinda thought it was a premonition of how I would die one day. I even told my parents I would freeze to death when I grew up. In the memory, I was lying in the snow and I floated up out of my body. It wasn't until many years later that I realized it was probably a memory, not a vision. In the memory, I died, what looked to be in my late 20s. I'm way past that now, thankfully. What if we don't remember much of anything before 5? Because that's when memories of our past lives fade while the new ones of our current life form. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you or someone you know has had reincarnation experiences, please leave a comment or tag your friends and share their stories with us.